So recently I held a mini event for our own internal clients where I share with them, what are the best practices for ending off Q4 2022 well. And at the start of, before we started the entire event on Zoom and everything else, I shared a story about my journey. And if you guys have watched my previous video, I shared about basically paid 50,000 for a mastermind, flew all the way to US, where these are people that are earning like 10, 20 million a year, kind of like big guys and all that stuff. So basically I shared the story of me going there and finding out what really differentiates basically the people at the top and people at the bottom. I distilled down to like literally those two traits that, at least in my experience, when I kind of interviewed and really talked to the people over there, these are the two lessons that I shared with our own clients that changed my life and literally changed the way I do things, and hopefully it does the same for you as well. Okay, so again, if you don't know who I am, my name is Benjamin Ong. I'm the founder of Authentic Advisory Systems, where we basically help FAs make more money while being happy, purposeful, and authentic. Okay, so enjoy this video and let me know in the comments below what you think. Okay, so this is Q3, something I went through and I don't really talk much. I rarely share all these things as well over the last 2 years when we were running AS and stuff. I can't remember who was telling me that sharing my perspective and what I personally been through and the team been through could be good perspective for all of you guys in your advisory. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you guys. This is storytelling time and there's a lesson in it. As you guys know, I joined the mastermind, right? So this mastermind is 50K a year. I invested in that in February this year, and it was in US. Okay, so basically this guy who does like previously did like 36 million a year and kind of stuff, earn great money and all that things, right? Which is a lot of money. And oh, by the way, he's like #1 in the space. So I joined this mastermind, and then they hold quarterly mastermind. So they've been holding discount events, right? I go on coaching calls, so on and so forth, but I didn't go for that event. So last month, September, I decided to fly all the way to US to be in person for the mastermind. The flight was no fucking joke, man. Like, I think it was like 15 hours, 16 hours direct flight. We went to LA, Los Angeles, right? It's my first time going to US as well. So it was 16 hours. I was contemplating whether to go or not. Because like, you need to understand, go there 16 hours, right? Come back was about 20 hours. So it's 35 hours. And then you have jet lag, correct or not? Now, so I was thinking, is it worth it? Because I can watch the recording. But then I decided, you know what? I always talk about energy, environment and stuff like that, right? So then I decided to go. You know what? Fuck it, let's go. Now, the mastermind itself, the group total have 100 people, but only 52 showed up for that mastermind, right? So when I went there, here's one thing that they do at the start of the mastermind. So when you went there, everybody was, they kind of know each other, but I don't know, right? Because obviously I'm the only Singaporean Asian there. Okay? The Asians that are there are ABCs. Anybody know what's ABC? Yeah, ABC? American born Chinese, exactly, right? So we had chat here and there. So at the start, this is something that they did. Okay, so everybody was to have a piece of paper, like there are some pieces of paper, and then this is what you're supposed to write on a piece of paper. Okay, you're supposed to fill in the blanks. I am currently doing XXX, fill in the blank, amount of revenue a month, and I want to take my company to fill in the blank revenue a month. So if you are doing 30K, you say you're 30K, and then you want to take to 100K in the next 12 months, right? So you're supposed to fill in the blanks. So everybody fill out the blanks, and then guess what happened? Everybody has to stand up and share. First person stood up. Okay, he stood up. He was like this. He stood up, and then he was like, "Hey people, my name is Basha. I'm currently doing 350,000 a month, and the next 12 months, I want to take it to at least 550,000 a month." Woo! Right, clap. Next person stood up. Yeah, hi everybody. Currently we are doing around like, 850 a month, right? And we want to bring to at least 1.5 in the next 12 months. Woo! Sit down. And next person. Hi people. My name is Sam. My teammate, Genki is here. Like literally his name is Genki. Genki is here. We are both currently, the company, we are doing around like, 890. We want to bring it to at least 2 mil in the next 12 months. A month. This is a month. Okay? So it went on and on and on, right? So, right? Now, funnily, it was in rows of 3, right? So I was sitting all the way at the back. I was probably the third last person to stand up and talk, right? But as more people started to talk, and it's nearing my turn, I felt a sense of dread. The reason was, I was the lowest earner there. Lowest. Okay? Now, I have 2 more people behind me, correct or not? But I sneak their paper. I take a look at their number. Yeah, both of them like 300,000, 500,000 a month. Doing 305,000 a month. I'm like, fuck my life, right? Plus I Asian. Asian, they paiseh. Then it's like, you feel noob. And then it's like, us small guy from small country, and shit like that, right? And then small revenue, So the whole point, right? I was the lowest earner there. And then guess what? The second highest, right? So I'm here. And then the next person that just hired me was 3 times
my revenue. Right? It was doing about like 250 a month. 250,000 a month. It was 3 times. Like the next person above me was 3 times higher than me. Right? So that was the environment I was in, right? How would you guys feel if you guys were me? Like, you just imagine that space, everybody is doing a lot more than you. How would you guys feel? I don't know. Maybe you guys will feel like inspired. I don't know. Intimidated. Maybe small, right? Demoralizing. Just imagine, it's like this, okay? Everybody, every single one of you, okay, do MDRT. Then you all go to a room of 80 people. Everybody do 1 million FYC a year. Yeah, right? It's a kind of like feeling, right? So that was the kind of state I was in. But that wasn't the main point. So what happened was, over the next couple of days, they run through certain strategies, content, so on and so forth, right? Now, but one special thing about that I realized in the US mastermind that is different from Asian ones, in Singapore, Malaysia, and whatnot, is that in Asia, usually we have a lot more like content. That makes sense? Those in June one, content next. In US, right, the amount of content provided was like 30%. 70% was about what? Networking, about asking questions, hanging out, and so on and so forth, right? So, when you're in, they say, right, when you're in US, you follow the US culture, right? And then I was, their lunch break was 2 hours. Like, lunch break was 2 hours, and then everybody just eat taco and then just start talking. Now, when I went there was one objective. Other than learning about strategies and stuff, right? One of the objectives I had was this. I wanted to know, after I hear everybody say out their revenue, I wanted to know this. I wanted to know, what do these people have that I don't have? That makes sense? Like, what kind of thinking, what kind of skills, what kind of belief they have that I don't? Because if they're earning more money, they probably have something that I don't. Agree? Right? If someone is earning more money, they probably have certain skill sets, beliefs, or character traits that I don't. So that was one thing I wanted to find out. Because I'm thinking to myself, is it because they are smarter than us or smarter than me? You know what I mean? Is it they're more hardworking? Is it because of whatever it is? Now, after I talked to a lot of people, I talked to them, asked them questions, and I just relentlessly go out, right? I concluded a few things, and I think this is the lesson that is for everybody here today, right? I realized none of them are like very, very smart. They are not. They don't come off like a genius. Oh, it's like that. No, they don't. They're not like any smarter than us. So then I think to myself, okay, so if they're not smarter than us, then there's something else going on. So then I started to ask about what? How many hours they work a day. On average, right, they only work like 8 to 10 hours. Not much, For someone doing 500,000-600,000 a month, I mean, it's not a lot, relatively speaking, right? And I think to myself, fuck, if they're not smarter than me, and then they work less than me, where have I went wrong, correct? Right? The kind of frustration like, 他妈的, 为什么 I don't get it, right? And then I concluded, after I talked to people, I realized one thing everybody have in common, and those that are earning more revenues and having a bigger business, like team of 50, 60, 70 people, right? They have this one trait the most. It's a trait, not a skill, not a belief. Maybe it's a belief, but it's not a skill set. It's not a skill set. It's nothing to do with skills. This is what I've concluded and what I realized that was in common, okay? There are in fact kind of like 2 things, so I'll talk about the first one first. Number 1, the biggest thing that everybody has was this word. Was bold. Now let me explain why I say that and what I mean. When I spoke to them, I asked them, hey, don't you have fears? Don't you have worries, anxiety that you can't reach your goals, that you can't make it, and all the other things? And then they said, yeah, I do. I said, hey, then I asked them, hey, if you execute on this, isn't there a chance, a risk that this might happen? And they replied me, yeah, there is. Then I asked them, but what makes you so confident that this is going to work? You know what he replied me? He said, well, I don't know. But fuck it. Just do it anyways. I'm just going to do it anyways. I'm just going to try. And if it fails, it fails. And then I'll move on. And to me, at that point in time, right, at first, one person told me in this manner. So one person's sample size not very big. Agree? So I went to talk to at least another like 8 more. Same shit. Same mentality. And I concluded they're all bull. Now, these people are not more hardworking. They are not smarter than Asians. And in fact, Asians are pretty smart. If you guys really think about it. If you guys go and look at stats, like Asians are pretty smart people, right? They're not more hardworking. They're not smarter than us. But one thing they have, they are bolder than us. In Chinese, 他们敢做. You know what I mean? 他们敢做. Not in a stupid way, but in a courageous, right? It brings courage. That makes sense? It's not that they have a lack of fears. It's not that they have a lack of anxiety or emotions or whatever it is. It's just that I'm just going to do it anyway, and they are bold. Now, how many of you here, if we take a pause here, right? How many of you here feels like, can touch heart, and say that every day, the way you're living your life, the way you're doing your sales, your prospecting, and your client servicing, and your learnings and everything else, right? Every day, you are living a bold life. You are boldly conquering your fears and going out there. How many of you can say that you are like that? Every day you wake up, you feel fear, but yeah, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to do it anyways. Or like if you can't be 100% sure, you can give a percentage. Maybe you're 50% bold. Everybody imagine this. Whatever percentages that you have, can everybody just imagine if you increase that percentage, if you just double it or increase it, do you think just changing that alone will change the results of what you do on a daily basis? Agree. The question here is very simple. This is a question I ask myself after I understand this. I ask myself, then what's holding us back? What's holding us back? Now, this is where I'm going to dissect this. Okay? So, we talk about boldness and talk about courage and everything else, right? The enemy of this is fear. Agree? And the opposite of this is fear, right? Now, there are different types of fear. There's fear of poverty. Like generally speaking, there's fear of poverty, fear of ill health. Poverty means you scared you no money, you scared you go broke, okay? Scared of ill health means I fear that my health not good enough. I fear that my health, I scared something will happen to me, okay? Fear of what? Fear of death, 怕死. Not the 惊死, but like really 怕死. You fear that you will die. Another type of fear, these are for older folks, fear of old age. Now, fear of old age doesn't apply to, if I'm 45 means, I'm scared I'm old. No. Fear of old age could also mean that I'm 25 years old, my friends are 21 and they're doing better than me. I fear that my age of me getting older is a bad thing. By 28, I'm supposed to earn XXX amount. My friends who are younger already done it and I haven't yet. So that's another type of fear. And obviously, there's another one. Fear of criticism. You fear people will talk about you. You fear failure. Why we scared people will talk about you, right? Another one, fear of losing the freedom to express. Imagine Singapore PAP says that, Jethro, you no longer can say any bad things about PAP. If you do, you go to jail straight away. Or like Olivia, you no longer can say the word fuck anymore. The moment you say it, you go to jail. Right? Or like, you cannot say certain things, right? So fear. So there's oppression and stuff. So these are the fears. Now, if you really dive deep into each of these fears, some other cousins of these fears, which might be something that you guys are feeling, could be this. So, like for example, you look at Ashley, right? Ashley says lack of courage. Correct? Lack of courage falls under, which one does it fall under? You fear you'll go broke because of this decision? You fear that people will criticize you? Or you criticize yourself? Which one is the fear? Because in order to identify the fear, to conquer the fear, we need to first identify it. Agree? In order to conquer something, we need to first identify it. So you need to understand which fear. Everybody has different fears, but one of it probably stands out the most. Okay? So you gotta understand the fear. Criticism, OH, poverty. Okay, so there's a lot, right? So these are the fears. Fear is always the enemy of most things that we do. So first we gotta identify, and then one of the ways. Now, it's not that easy to just overcome fear, right? It's not easy and say that, hey, actually, fuck your fear lah, move on. It's not that easy. Does that make sense? It's not like, 这样容易 just 走而已, But here was a mindset. Here's point number 2 that I've learned that was a lot more helpful and practical in overcoming fear. It's called this is something that I subscribe to now every fucking day of my life. And it helped me a lot, tremendously, every single day. Like even today, I had a setback today. A huge setback today to me. But this mindset helps me to overcome and still fucking do it anyways. Guys, if you talk to your producers, you talk to MDRT people, or people who performs better, they usually have this MOF. This changed my fucking life in Q3 and helps me in Q4 right now. Okay? They have a MOF, they have a matter of fact mindset. Write this down. You must have a matter of fact mindset. So, I was talking to more people, right? Back to the story, back to the mastermind. I was talking to more people, agree? So I was talking. Then after that, I asked my own questions, correct? I asked my questions of like, hey, Sam, I ask you a question. Have you ever tried doing this before? Me being agent, this is my learning mode. Have you tried doing this before? Then this guy looked at me. He's the guru lah, okay? He's the guru. His name's called Sam Evans. Guru. He looked at me. Then he just looked at me and said, yes, I did before. Then I look at him and I say, hey, so how was the experience, when you're doing this particular strategy? And then he replied, he looked at me. And he's like, normal? Like normal? Then I look at him. Then he looked at me, right, as though I'm expecting a different answer, And then I look at him and I say, were you not these were my questions. Were you not afraid that if you do this, then this might happen? How many of you here got this kind of question? If you do this, then maybe this might happen. Were you not afraid? Like, 你不会怕 man? 你不会觉得 like if you do this, then maybe that will happen? I give you guys context. I say, hey, have you hired salespeople to do before? To do your sales for you? I said, yeah. I said, hey, were you not afraid, right? If you hire a salesperson, then the salesperson don't perform well, then you lose sales, you lose revenue, and then you have to struggle and all that stuff. Right? This was the exact question. He looked at me. He said, he was like, yeah. Then you work on teaching this person to do better lah. Then he looked at me. Then I looked at him. Then I don't know what else to say anymore. Because it seems like I'm asking a stupid question. Now, that experience, right, taught me one thing. It was less about the content or the answers. It was the way he said it that made the difference. If my worry is that if I hire somebody and the person don't perform up to a job, I worry that I'll lose money, lose time, lose attention, lose whatever. His answer was, if that's the case, then you go and fix it and train this person better, lor. Agree? If that's the problem, then the solution is just to train lah. Correct or not? Like, just to train. Now, the answer sounds very simple, correct or not? And actually, the truth is, for most of us, we actually know the answers to our problems. But it was the matter of fact mindset that he gave me that was like, huh? Keith Nico, you not happy ah? Then quit ah. But Ben, what if? Then don't quit lor. Ben ah, wow, I scared cold call, I scared I cannot. Then do warm lah. But warm very small, but okay, then do better lah. Like do this better lor. Like 就这样子咯. Like it was that matter of fact belief and statement and mindset that changes everything. Does that make sense, people? Let's say Jade, maybe referrals haven't asked enough yet. Maybe you're scared to do this or you're scared to whatever, right? Have a matter of fact mindset, which is, okay, so what's the worst that's going to happen if I ask? I'm going to get rejected, right? The person will say, get rejected, then after that, I will scared, I will feel failure, I feel a bit emotional and stuff like that. Okay lah, then move on lah, then 你要怎样？你会觉得 sad 咯 ，OK 咯 ，then move on 啦。就这样子哦，对 ，OK， move on。That makes sense, people. Let's have a matter of fact mindset. So, Xianjun, go for prospecting. Hey, Ben, I scared I send this message. Maybe this person will reply me. What if this person did? Then you find something to do about it lah. Or you change this or you do that lah. Move on. Have a matter of fact mindset. So every time nowadays when I have fear and I already know the outcome of what if it doesn't go well. That makes sense? I already know the outcome of what happens if it doesn't go well. And then I just apply the matter of fact mindset. I look at it and I'm like, there's a chance I might fail if I do this. Then the matter of fact mindset came in, which is, okay lor, fail lah, then just move on again lor. 就这样子哦，你要我怎样? Like what else do you want me to do? Right, you're gonna fail, right? Then move on lah. Then what? That makes sense? So this was the big thing, right? Lesson number 1, bold, being bold. Number 2, to overcome, have a matter of fact mindset.